Hello. This is the Smile Revolution. And I'm Princess Wow, obviously. And I'm also known as Mindy Fradkin. Some people know me as just Mindy or Wow. You can call me any of the above. Anyway, we raise awareness to the healing power of a genuine smile if this is your first time watching my show. And this project started many years ago when my dad passed on. It was the last smile he gave me. And that smile changed my life for the better. So it's a long-term project. And this particular show online started in the pandemic, the first week, March 2020. A friend of mine said, can you do an uplifting Facebook Live to help people smile as we were racked in fear? So that's how this all started. And I used to have a radio show with the Smile Revolution. And I used to interview, musicians and artists and people doing uplifting things like Pete Seeger, Richie Havens. Richie Havens was on my show, yes. And Arla Guthrie, Roland Musa, Tom Pacheco, a lot of other people, Buffy St. Marie, anyway, and authors and other people doing uplifting things. So anyway, this has kind of evolved into an online show now. And so I'm really excited about my show today. KANDIA CRAZY HORSE. She is a singer-songwriter and a music journalist. And I met her recently in Woodstock at the Women's Music Summit. It's called We Got the Beat. And it was the first annual. And it'll be every year. I'm really excited. It was so great. And so I'm doing a series of people that I met either on the program or people I met there in the audience. And it's just a series I'm starting for the year. And it's really exciting. It was such a great event. It was amazing. So before she comes on and we hear her amazing music, I actually, this is going to be I'm pre-recording this. Will be airing on May 9th, 8:00 Eastern time, Victory Day, which was the end of the war, I believe, and end of Nazi regime in Russia, but it's kind of like a bittersweet right now. But that's what this is, May 9th. And I also wanted to read you a smile poem. And this was from my radio show. It was listeners who sent this plaque to me years ago. Anonymous smile poem. A smile is something nice to see. It doesn't cost a cent. A smile is something all your own. It never can be spent. A smile is welcome anywhere. It does away with frowns. A smile is good for everyone to ease life's ups and downs. Now, I don't smile all the time. Do you? Some people do. But it's about giving and receiving smiles. So actually, one time I remember I was really depressed and I saw somebody walking by me with a big smile, and that shifted my whole thought and made me feel better. And actually, there's a story about this man who wanted to kill himself in San Francisco, and he was going to jump off the bridge. And he said, if somebody walks by me and gives me a smile, I'm not going to jump off the bridge. And somebody jogged right by him and said hello and gave him a smile, and he didn't jump off the bridge. So that's the healing power of just a simple smile. And I don't know if you can see, but I am wearing, hold it one second. I got inspired from interviewing KANDIA today. I had this African necklace on that was given to me by Sue Kreitzman. She's a well-known outsider artist, soon to be she's been living in East London and New York City for 40 years, but she's giving up her New York City museum for East London full time. And she gave me this necklace, because I love yellow, as you can see. I made the hat. I make hats too. I'm a woman of many hats. But anyway, the point is that I wanted to honor her because she gave me this. And I bought one of her amazing neck pieces as well. And I got some bracelets from her. But this is her, if you can see. And she makes these neck shrines, she calls them. And they're going to be featured in the American Visionary Museum in Baltimore, which is where I'm from. And permanently. It's a permanent exhibition. And this is from a book. So I'm friends with and connected to, I'm now actually officially connected to Color Walk in London. She's the godmother of it. She started about 6 years ago, I think. And Hello Rainbow is by Momtaz Begum Hossein, Finding Happiness in Color. So I've been a color person for decades, since the 90s in New York City. Yeah, it got me a lot of publicity, but that's not why I did it. I couldn't stand all the black. Everybody's wearing black, and I had to like wear a turquoise wig and like rainbow colors. So this group of my new friends, I'm following for years. I finally met Sue. And it's really wonderful because I'm not the only one in the world with all these colors. But actually, a Native American chief told me once that his mother said to wear bright colors because it makes people happy. And so it really does. It makes people smile. So it goes with my mission. And anyway, this book is amazing too. And I've had Momtaz on my show. It's all about color. It does make you smile and happy. And then I found, this is something I found years ago. It's called a Love-a-thon celebration, a race to build your mental bank of love for humanity. It's from actually the Seventh Church of Christ Scientists in Washington, D.C. This is like from years ago. I found this. But it says, man's yearning for love is universal. And amid today's belief of hostility, conflict, and confusion and fear, love, when cultivated and demonstrated on a one-to-one basis, can reverse these beliefs and bring happiness, peace, joy, tranquility, and freedom from suffering. Man can therefore realize that these sacred qualities have their source in God. Love sustains and blesses mankind. And how you can use your bank of love. We really need it now more than ever, don't you think? With everything going on the last couple of years and now. Join the Love-a-thon celebration. Well, that's something that they did years ago. But anyway, refer a friend. Okay, make someone smile. Encourage someone to be cheerful. Report your day's act of love. So I thought that, I really like that. And then Marianne Williamson said, anyone who thinks we can continue as a human race the way we are now, with greed and domination and economic obsession as the organizing principles of human civilization as they are today, is naive. And just so you know, this is a picture of me from the 90s. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So you see that I've been into color a long time. Not that I wear it every day. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I wear black, but I usually wear black with other colors. But it just does uplift myself. And when somebody wants to say hello, this is Miss Wow. And she is from, this is actually my real hair, but I do wear a lot of wigs. This is from a pink wig that I have. I have many wigs. Anyway, this is from a photo of me, and she has her smile bag. Doesn't everyone have a smile bag? And she likes to say hi to everybody. And let's see. And here is my smile bag. Doesn't everyone have a smile bag? And what else can I show you? Okay, well, Gumby wants to say hello and give you a big smile and a hug. Now, I'm not saying that there's a lot of challenges right now on the planet. However, we can always focus. There's always good going on, and you can always focus on gratitude. There's always something you be grateful for, and you can always be loving no matter what. So that's what this is all about. And I also have a joy jar. I made this, and you can write down all the things that bring you joy. And here's one that I wrote. Being with my cat Tiggy, also known as the Queen of Well II. Now, all my animals have their AKAs like their mother. And then being generous. Or also, I have it in here too. I love to sing, and I also love to bake. And so let's see. And then here's a little friend. I have all these. You can tell I've done children's shows over the years too. Little frog just wants to say hello. And so let's see. I also wanted to give homage to Buffy St. Marie. Now, on my show, I really am focusing, since the Music's Women's Summit, more on women. Now, I will have men on my show. I just had Jan Skates from London. I adore him. Now, I will have men on my show to interview, but I'm more focused on featuring women because it's been a boys' club for centuries, right? So Buffy St. Marie, if you don't know about her, You should. Well, she was touring constantly before the pandemic. And here, I'm going to read a little bit about her bio. Coming off her critically acclaimed, award-winning 2015 album. Well, this is an old bio, I guess. Power in the Blood. Nobody could ever accuse the Academy Award-winning songwriter of taking it easy. Since her groundbreaking debut, 1964's It's My Way, the Cree singer-songwriter has been a trailblazer and a tireless advocate, an innovative artist, and a disruptor of the status quo. She spent her whole life creating, and her artistry, humanitarian efforts, and indigenous leadership have made her a unique force in the music industry. In 1969, she made one of the world's first electronic vocal albums. In 1982, she became the only indigenous person to win an Oscar. She spent 5 years on Sesame Street, where she became the first woman to breastfeed on national television. She's been blacklisted and silenced. She's written pop standards, sung and recorded by the likes of Janis Joplin, Elvis Presley, Donovan, Joe Cocker, and Jennifer Warnes. She penned Universal Soldier, the definitive anti-war anthem of the 20th century. She's an icon who keeps one foot firmly planted on either side of the North American border in the unsurrendered territories that comprise Canada and the USA. It goes on, and she's amazing. And you should, if you don't know about her, check her out. You can check her out on YouTube, and she's amazing. And I was just listening to Richard Barone's hosting WBAI last night. You can look it up in the archives. He had a 2-hour interview with her, and it was amazing listening to a lot of her songs I never heard of, and just she's so inspiring. So I felt inspired because of KANDIA today, Crazy Horse. I felt inspired to talk about Buffy today. So I'm going to read a little bit her short bio here. KANDIA Crazy Horse. A standout in the crowded Americana field and burgeoning rise of Black country, KANDIA Crazy Horse expresses an authentic and rich sonic vision of Appalachian lore and Native American twang. Born in the nation's capital, KANDIA has resided in Bamako, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Maseru.Alexandria Eqypt, Accra, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Charlotte, North Carolina, near Branson-Missouri, and is now based in Harlem. Her Blue Ridge Mountain music and Laurel Canyon-influenced songwriting skills, voice infused with a honeyed rasp and deft arrangements, have yielded performances on the Grand Ole Echo at SXSW and at Lincoln Center, garnering critical acclaim from outlets such as MOJO, The Village Voice, Acoustic Guitar, Relix, Harp, Blurt, and celebrated indie radio station WFMU. Praised for her all-encompassing fluency and facility with varied country and folk music traditions, KANDIA's sound unifies the ancient with indigenous futures. And here she is. Hi.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great that we met. See, there's no accidents who you meet in life, right?
Yes, it was great to meet you at the summit. You
Yeah.
were definitely a standout of the people that were come to be the audience.
I was a
I
standout.
remembered you.
Thank you. I know, because of my colors and hat, right?
Well, a hat helped because
The hat helps because you like hats too.
I think we were the only two that really had hats going that weekend. I don't remember anybody else.
No, it was
really
you and I. That's
having
it. No, you're right. It was you and I. That's right. And that's why, of course, I had to meet you. Right? Because another hatter, we had to like connect.
Yeah.
I know. So wasn't that a great weekend?
Yes, it was.
It was amazing. Yeah, it really was. So were you there the whole weekend?
Yes, I was there through Sunday.
Okay. And Sunday was great too, wasn't it? I didn't go the whole week. I was there Saturday and then Sunday morning.
Yeah, Deborah and Cindy Cash Dollar did a brunch performance.
Yeah, it was great. I was there for that. It was great. And Deborah's been on my show.
Yes, I know.
Deborah Devi. I know. I love her. Isn't she great? I love her. She is so great. And her music's amazing. And she's a wonderful person.
Yeah, I hope to collaborate with her one of these years.
Oh, that'd be great.
Get together.
Well, I feel like this whole, the music summit, it's going to be so great. Like, I like next year. I can't wait for, everybody says they can't wait for next year. It's like, really, it's just a great event.
Yes, Holly and Lizzie did a really great job, and I can see it going forward for a long while.
I know. And they said they want to start a women's radio show or something too. I think it's so great.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, they mentioned that on Sunday. I got to find out more from Victoria Levy, because I send all this to her for Lizzie, these shows that I'm doing. So anyway, okay. So when did you start? I know you've been a music journalist too. Now, are you still a music journalist, or are you doing both, your music and
I'm not really writing anymore.
Okay.
I focus on songwriting, which is difficult enough. Different way of wrangling words. So
right.
It's not to say I'll never write another piece again. It's just I have to be really inspired these days to undertake all the numbers you have to go through to pitch things.
Oh, right. Yeah. And everything's a full-time job. I know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you had a long career as a music journalist, right?
Yes, I did. Over 20 years.
Real? Oh. And were you in New York then when you were doing that? Or?
I was in New York, and I was in Atlanta, and I was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Those are the three places where I wrote for papers.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then were you always a musician during the whole time? Were you always doing music, or?
No, I wasn't.
And how did you get into doing music?
Basically, my mother died, and
I'm sorry.
It changed my relationship to the word. My mother gave me words, and she gave me music from the beginning of my life. She was a jazz fanatic, and that's the reason I knew who sidemen were. And I read liner notes and all these things that were in my development towards becoming a music writer.
Wait, whose sidemen? Wait, who's that?
My mother.
Oh, okay.
So when she died, it just made me want to make a record in tribute to her. I wasn't allowed to make it explicitly about her, but in my internal self, Stampede is a tribute to her instead of making an obit or something else. I mean, she had 5 funerals, one of which was at the UN, and one was at the National Cathedral in DC. And we had to plan all of that. But besides that, I decided not to write an obituary, but to make her an album instead. And that was the start of me making music.
Wow. And that was 2013?
Yes.
Wait, so your mother was a musician, you're saying?
No, she wasn't a musician. She was just a fanatic of jazz music and African music.
Oh.
And Motown. And she passed all of those on to me.
Oh, I grew up listening to Motown. Because my older sister, she was always listening to it. So it was in the house. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so you just started, like, right when your mother died, you just felt inspired to make a record.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's so interesting.
And I went to LA to visit my friend Jennifer Harima, who's of the band Royal Trucks. And she asked me one day, we were driving, I don't remember where we were going, I think into downtown LA. She asked me to write her a song. And so I did, and that song was California. That's the very first song I wrote.
Oh, wow. So wait, but you were a music journalist for 20 years, so you knew all the musicians, you knew everybody, right? Because you would cover you do reviews on the musicians. And
I knew some people, mostly people from the South, because I focused on writing about the new wave of Southern rock and country.
Right, okay.
And so most people I had that were friends were people from down South.
Okay. So you were around it, but you're right. But you never played an instrument or sang, or you don't play an instrument. You sing. You're a singer, and that's an instrument. I know.
I'm learning how to play banjo, but I know I never played an instrument.
Okay.
I didn't even know I could sing. I just started singing one day, and there it was.
That's so interesting. And you never wrote a song before your mother died?
No, never.
But you were a writer, so it was like,
Yes.
right. But you never wrote a song before. That's fascinating. And so you totally changed your whole life.
Yes, I did.
And so, okay, so you wrote a song, California, and then you started. Did you collaborate with anybody? Because I collaborate. I write songs with Roland Musa, but I never written a song, but he's a master songwriter. But like, did you ever? I know you're a writer, but did you ever? It's so different to write a song than writing an article.
Yeah, Carmen Sclafani from the band Wiser Time, he actually came up with the music for California.
Okay. But you wrote the whole song yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Did you like take a class in songwriting? I mean, it is different.
No, I didn't. I didn't
It
take
just
the
came.
class.
You didn't take a class in songwriting. You just like wrote a song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And then you had your friend who knew a musician who created the music. Right. Okay. And so all the songs that you write, I mean, you do those you just write them yourself and you don't collaborate with anybody else.
The other ones, no. I just came up with the lyrics and the melodies.
And the melodies?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't read music or write music specifically, but I just came up with a sort of way of doing it, kind of my own sort of notation that I use.
That's really interesting. Huh. Yeah, I'm learning electric guitar.
How's that going?
I got Roland left me his he's out in North Dakota on a reservation. I told you, and he left his two of his acoustic and electric in my garage. So during the pandemic, I started picking up, my ukulele that I had that I never played, and then I started learning the guitar. So I'm learning. I mean, I'm a beginner, but I love the electric. I decided I really like the electric guitar.
Well, that's good. We need to have more women playing that.
I know it's very rare, like Deborah Devi. It's not a lot of women, but I really do love it. It's really fun. So, and you're learning banjo. You know that Pete Seeger has that banjo book, that learning banjo.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but
I think you can get it online on Amazon.
Okay, but Pete Seeger and Doug Dillard are the influences I have for learning to play banjo.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, so you should. Yeah, I've heard that that's obviously it'd be a great book to learn from.
Yeah.
And that'd be great. Yeah, that's really cool. So that's really neat. And I find for me, I don't know, some people pick up instruments really easily, but for me, it's not easy. But I like the electric guitar the best, so that it's fun for me to practice. So you have to find an instrument I've realized that you really like a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you really like the banjo. That's interesting.
Well, I grew up going to the Folklife Festival in DC, and I was always drawn to the bluegrass tent. And that's where I first saw people playing banjo that came in from the mountains. And it just stuck with me from when I was a really little small girl.
Mm-hmm. Great. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take us off and I'm going to play one of your songs.
Okay.
Okay, hold it 1 second. Hold it. Okay, so I think I'm going to play first Quartz Hill. So tell me a little bit about that song.
Well, Quartz Hill's the favorite song of mine that I've written so far.
Okay.
It's about some experiences I've had being in LA, in the kind of cool kid scene between Silver Lake and Eagle Rock and Laurel Canyon itself. And Ben Peeler, my guitarist on the album, he specifically played the parts of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young on the guitar. And there you can hear them throughout the song if you listen closely. And I'm very happy with how it came out because I wanted to pay homage to that whole Laurel Canyon scene that's existed since the 1960s.
Right. That's great. That's really cool. Now I know I'm totally into that whole scene too. I love that era. And there's that about the film. There's a film all about the Laurel Canyon scene from the 60s and 70s. You know about that?
Yes,
that
I've seen it. I've seen it.
It's great, isn't it? It's really good. Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna take us off and I'm gonna play it. Okay.
draw endless summer thrills. Here I found what's here. A magic mist is how brought the Harlem bells down. In the lane of the
It's so beautiful. Ugh, I love that song.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful. It really takes you off. It transcends. It's amazing.
Well, that's what I was going for.
Yeah,
So hopefully it came through.
Yeah, it did. It's I love it. So, and where do you record? Do you record in New York City or?
In Miami.
Oh, you recorded that in Miami. Oh.
Yeah, at Cherokee Studios.
Uh-huh. Oh. Interesting. And so you have a band down there, or they found you a band?
The band for my album is actually Shakira's band.
Wow. And that was
All
from the
the
studio down, yeah, they're local in Miami.
Yeah, my producer was her musical director and keyboard player, Albert Menendez.
Uh-huh.
And so he got his players that he normally works with her to play on my album.
That's great. That's really great. Well, it sounds fantastic. And the next song we're going to play is Indian Prayer.
Oh, great.
That my husband, Roland Musa, and Tom Pacheco wrote. And Richie Havens, as we, well, you're going to say all this on the video anyway, I don't really have to repeat. You're going to hear it, which you're going to talk about on the video. But anyway, how did it come about that you wanted to cover that?
I had the Richie Havens version. I don't remember when I bought the album.
Mixed bag too.
Yeah, I had it. And ever since I heard it, I was in love with the song.
Uh-huh.
And it came about that we were doing an event at Decolonize the Place in Soho. It was just Water is Life. And I just decided it would be fun to get some other of my fellow native and non-native artists that were going to play or be in the audience to join me in doing that song. So we just went and rehearsed in Midtown and it came out all right. So we went through with it.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. Wow. I'm so happy that you did that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
It's an amazing song. And it was
the sentiment I share. So
right. And it's Pete Seeger's one of his favorite songs. He always asks Roland to play it. And actually, I don't know if you know this, you may not. Pete Seeger's 90th birthday at Madison Square Garden. Did you know about that in 2009?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was backstage. Well, anyway, Pete wanted Roland to open the whole show with Indian Prayer, and he did. But he also got other Native American people from different tribes to talk, speakers, and David Amron played, and other natives played with him, and this whole show was open with that song. Isn't that neat? Yeah, that was Pete's request. So I'm happy and honored to play it, your version, and I'll take you off now. We're going to play it now.
Okay.
The other evening when I was at Indigenous Voices, I finally met the daughter of my great hero. In fact, the reason I sing country and western, even though he was not a country singer, that was our Siksika Blackfoot brother Richie Havens, who has gone up to the spirit world. And so I felt I'd already planned to do this song, but then when I met her, it was just a cosmic convergence, and so we had to keep it in the set. So bear with us. This is a song he popularized, and but it was written by the Woodstock co-writers Tom Pacheco and Victorio Roland Musa. It's called the Indian Prayer, or alternatively Indani.
Yeah, right? That's how we would do it.
shall grow as long as the wind shall grow, as long as the stream shall flow, as long as the grass shall grow. This land shall be in the air. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. In the as long as the fish shall rain, as long as the bird shall sing, as long as the deer shall spring, as long daylight shall bring, this land is in the air. Yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah.
That was great. That was so great. Wonderful. So great to hear that again. Always great to hear it.
Yeah, it's an amazing song.
It really is. So powerful. And you all did a great job covering it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very special song. And I'm glad that we were able to play that today. And both those songs today were just, I feel so inspired. Don't you? From hearing you, but I feel so invigorated, inspired from hearing both those songs today.
Yeah, it makes me want to get back in the plunge with the songwriting and see if I can come up with another thing that's as clear as Chord Hill was it just came to me exactly how it was without any tweaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't always happen.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I know. Yeah, but sometimes songs take years, and some that you just come. Well, there is a book I can recommend. One of my guests who was on my show recently, Paul Zolo. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Well, he's a singer-songwriter in LA, but he's also he's interviewed everybody in the world in the music business, from Dylan to Tom Petty, everyone. And he has 2 songwriting books, which I've got to still get. It's called Songwriting for Songwriters, and they're like huge, like it's like a Bible.
Really?
And he's interviewed everybody, and it's like all these interviews that he's compiled, and it's all like their tips that they're giving to the world. I don't know, it's just an idea. I'm just sharing that with you because it's Paul Zollo, Zollo, and they're on Amazon. And anyway, you should look him up because he's an amazing guy, and he has an actually online music magazine called BlueRailroad.com. And he reviews a lot of musicians. So it's a great magazine, and he's an amazing guy. So yeah, it'd be good to check it out.
All right.
Yeah, Paul Zolo. And this magazine is really cool too. He covers everybody, and he's cool. He's really cool. So I interviewed him recently, so I know about all the stuff now. So anyway, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up this interview?
Just that I'm working hard. I recorded a second album with that same crew of Shakira's band in Miami called Canyons, and I've performed a couple of the songs live, and one was released as a single. It's called Tula, which I sing in Spanish. It's available on Amazon and iTunes and all that. And that was a challenge, but I wrote the song in Spanish. Spanish was my first language. So I tried to make it come back after all these years. Somehow I pulled it off.
Oh,
so
that's great.
I'm really hoping Canyons will come out sometime. And I have been writing for the next albums during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll see some action on those lines. But I got to get back to performing too. We've had a hiatus, as everybody knows.
We all have, right.
Yeah.
We all have.
Yeah.
So right, we're just starting. I'm starting to do my first show on a live show with my hats. I do a hat happening. I just booked my first live performance because I've been so, online for 2 years. So I'm like, oh my God, it's like, it's so different being live, but it is great that people are starting to get back to shows.
Well, one thing, I'm looking for a pedal steel player. So if anybody's listening out there and knows of one who's based in and around New York City.
Okay.
Or is willing to come to New York City.
Right. Okay. Pedal steel player. Okay.
Yeah, pedal steel players are at a premium, it seems, here.
Oh,
so
okay. Okay. All right. So whoever watches, we can put out the word. And I'll just put here, I've got your information on the bottom down here, and then I'll put mine up for a second because I forgot to put our information on the bottom. Sorry, but at least I have it on there, and I'll put your information up underneath everything. I'll add all your contact information when I'm promoting the show. And well, anyway, it's been a delight to find out more about your career and your beautiful, amazing music. And I'm so glad to meet you.
Yes, it was really fun.
And all the connections
up there in Woodstock.
Huh?
You had a great time up there in Woodstock.
Yeah, it was great. And I look forward to finding out more about what you're up to. And thanks so much for coming and taking the time to being on my show.
It was fun.
It was really fun. That's what everybody always says. They always say, it was so fun being on my show. So that's great. We need more fun in the world.
Definitely.
Right? And more joy.
Yes.
So thanks so much for coming. And I'm going to take you off and do my credits.
Okay.
Okay. See you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Wait a second, everybody. All my, let's see, my technical stuff. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to sign off now. And next week, I have a great show next Monday night at Monday, May 16th. My next show is Cynthia Shaw, who's an actor, cabaret singer, pianist, master pianist, writer, amazing person, wonderful person. And she has a cabaret show coming up. And so I'll be interviewing her, and she's amazing. You'll love her. And so that's my next show. And I hope you enjoyed that interview with Kandia Crazy Horse, and much love. And we got to keep the joy, gratitude, and love. Much love. Bye. I'm going to go into my credits. Wait a second. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. I'm going off. Bye. It's called the Smile Revolution that comes, goes round and back to you. So smile, 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 a simple smile.